Hello everyone, welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Mike.
I'm Rainbow.
And it's part 2 of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. We're going to get back to it and find out what happens when Sir Gawain meets the Green Knight for a second battle. But this is, of course, part of King Arthur and his legendary Knights of the Round Table. Some of these stories are older than history, but they've been very, very popular through many generations. And, of course, they've inspired lots of films and television shows, if you're interested in kind of exploring this. If you like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, the Legends of King Arthur will be very, very similar to that, and something you probably will enjoy. Have you ever seen any of the movies based on King Arthur and the Knights? Merlin, of course, the magic guy, kind of like Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, so I loved the Lord of the Rings when I was young.
Okay.
And one of the guys in the Lord of the Rings, and I remember his face was just like straight up in the middle of the poster, and he was like the perfect role for it. And in my mind, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, this is my hero.
Oh, okay, so that might be one to look out for. Of course, there's a Disney version, the Sword in the Stone. That's a cartoon from a long time ago. I think about a young King Arthur and Merlin, the magic user. And, you know, these stories have even inspired the Transformers movies. I think Transformers later on,
inspired by the
they
Knights?
Got into King Arthur and the sword and all of that. And even back in 2021, not long ago, there was a movie called The Green Knight. So you might want to hunt that one down, but there are many, many versions of King Arthur and the stories of the Knights of the Round Table, including Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. So let's get back to our story for today and find out what happens when Sir Gawain and the Green Knight meet for a second time.
On the first day, the lady approached Gawain and kissed him on the cheek. At night, the Lord returned with a deer for Gawain. In exchange, Gawain kissed the Lord's cheek. The following day was much the same, with 2 kisses exchanged for a boar. On the third day, the lady gave Gawain 3 kisses and a magical green sash that would protect whoever wore it from death. At night, Gawain kissed the Lord 3 times, but made no mention of the sash. The next day, Gawain arrived at the chapel and knelt before the Green Knight. The knight bluffed 2 swings with his axe. He then scraped Gawain's neck with the axe before revealing his true identity as the lord of the castle. The old lady in the castle was actually King Arthur's enemy, Morgan Le Fay, in disguise. She had transformed the lord with magic and set up this test of virtue.
All right, so yes, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, part 2. Let's find out what happened. Sir Gawain was on his way to meet the Green Knight, and he stopped at a castle where there was a lord, a lady,
and an old ugly lady.
That's right, and they made him a very interesting offer. So let's find out what happened next.
On the first day, the lady approached Gawain and kissed him on the cheek.
Oh.
At night, the Lord returned with a deer for Gawain. In exchange, Gawain kissed the Lord's cheek.
Okay.
The following day was much the same, with 2 kisses exchanged for a boar. Interesting.
All right.
So we got 2 animals going on.
There you go, 2 animals, lots of meat. I guess this is good back then when you couldn't go to the supermarket. He has a deer and a boar. He will be feasting on meat for a long time, and all he's had to give up are a couple of little kisses on the cheek. This is a strange deal that's going on, but let's read on. It says, on the third day, the lady gave Gawain 3 kisses and a magical green sash that would protect whoever wore it from death. Well, that's useful if he's going off to fight a very powerful knight. This green sash, kind of just like a piece of cloth you might wear around you, kind of like a belt or a decoration. It would protect him from death. It's kind of magic armor for anyone who's played video games and that kind of thing. And then it says, at night, Gawain kissed the Lord 3 times, but made no mention of the sash. So he got the gift and he kissed the Lord, but he didn't say it was, you know, to thank him for the gift. So maybe that was a little bit of a mistake. Something was missing there in that last gift.
The next day, Gawain arrived at the chapel and knelt before the Green Knight.
Here it
so
is.
we're about to go to battle. The knight bluffed 2 swings with his axe. He then scraped Gawain's neck with the axe before revealing his true identity as the Lord of the castle. That means that this was the person he's been kissing, him and the wife, and living with for the past few days.
That's right, and by those actions, the Green Knight showed Gawain that he could kill him.
Anytime.
Right? He pretended to chop his neck off, then he pretended again, and then he just lightly scraped his neck with the blade to kind of say, I could do something terrible to you, but I won't. So something's going on here. Then it says the old lady in the castle was actually King Arthur's enemy, Morgan Le Fay, in disguise. Ooh, yes, if you read the stories, you'll know the name Morgan Le Fay. I don't know if she was actually related to King Arthur, maybe like his half-sister or something. But anyways, she really doesn't like King Arthur. And so this was her in disguise, pretending to be this old woman. She had transformed the Lord with magic and set up this test of virtue. So she was basically testing one of King Arthur's knights to make sure that he was really as honest and true and brave as, you know, King Arthur and everyone says. And to hide her identity, to hide who she really was, she of course had to wear a disguise. And a disguise is a special type of clothing, piece of clothing, something you use to cover up your face, your identity, something like that. You could disguise yourself on Halloween, but that's more like dressing up for fun. If you're disguising yourself, think more of a spy who might have to grow a beard or change their hairstyle or something because the bad guys are looking for them. Or of course, if you're a bank robber, and I hope you're not a bank robber, but of course we know bank robbers will often wear masks to cover their face because they're committing a crime and they don't want people to know who they are. So they put on a disguise. For example, Allie saw through her friend's poor disguise and recognized him immediately.
But he was just wearing sunglasses.
He had one of those plastic noses with the fake mustache. It was a bad disguise.
And the next word we have here is transform. You might have heard of this from the Transformers, which is a noun. Transform means to change into something magically. It's like first you were this thing, and then after you transformed, you look totally different. So, of course, people can go through many transformations. We can get haircuts. Some people get taller. People could wear makeup, or you could lose or gain a lot of weight. That would also cause a person to transform. Many different things. Anything can be transformed, from old to new, from nothing to anything, from rags to riches. Anything that changes over time we can describe as transforming. A few posters and some colored lights transform the room into a home theater. So we're just at home and deciding to have a good time, and with some decorations we have our own theater. Sounds like a good transformation.
That does sound pretty good, to change it from something boring to something fun by adding or changing things. And we also had this word virtue. Morgan Le Fay was testing Sir Gawain's virtue. Virtue is basically how much you follow the rules of kind of being a good person.
Yeah.
Maybe not the rules of the government, like following the rules on the road, but doing the things that you should do and not doing
like
the things
honest,
you might want to do. But you know your mom, your teachers, someone, if they saw you doing that, they go, why are you doing that? Don't be a bad boy. Don't be a bad girl. Show your virtue. Show that you're honest. Show that you're not too proud of yourself. Show that you're kind. Show that you like to help people when they need help. You share the things you have. These are good virtues, good sort of rules of life. And if you show your virtue, you're showing how sort of closely you follow those rules, how much you try to be a good moral person, in other words. For example, in his time, the monk was regarded as a model of virtue. He worked hard, he went to bed early, he never told a lie, and he ate all his vegetables.
Basically, he was a really good person, and everyone wanted to be like him.
Perfect. Anyways, let's take a break, and then we'll be back.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。我们在第一天的课文读到，堡主和 Sir Gawain 做了一个交易。堡主每天会去打猎，把猎到的东西给 Sir Gawain 来换取他在城堡里面得到的任何东西。那么第一天，堡主夫人就走向 Sir Gawain， 亲吻他的脸颊。那么晚上呢，堡主带了一头鹿回来送给 Sir Gawain， 于是呢，他就亲了堡主的脸颊作为交换。隔天几乎是一模一样的，他是用2个吻换了一头野猪。第3天呢，夫人是给 Sir Gawain 3个吻，还有一条有魔法的绿色腰带。佩戴它的人呢，可以受到保护，免于死亡。那么晚上呢 ，Sir Gawain 他亲吻了堡主3次，可是却完全没有提到那一条绿色腰带。我们补充一下 ，sash 就是指腰带啊、饰带或是肩带的意思。好，隔天呢 ，Sir Gawain 来到教堂，并且在绿骑士面前跪下。骑士呢就用斧头虚晃了2下，然后接着用斧头划伤了 Sir Gawain 的脖子。然后就透露出他的真实身份，其实就是堡主。城堡里面那个丑陋的老妇人，其实是亚瑟王的仇敌伪装的。他用魔法把这个堡主变身，然后设下这种测试，要测试他的美德。好，我们先来看看单字 disguise。disguise 是伪装啊、乔装的意思。那我们用 in disguise 就可以表达伪装、化妆。那讲到伪装的时候呢，老师有提到假胡子，我们补充一下 mustache。mustache mustache 表示嘴唇上面这个胡子8字胡。下一个单字 transform 是动词，它表示使改头换面，使大幅改变。那它的名词是 transformation， 就可以表达改造或是转变。Rainbow 老师解释时，他有提到 from rags to riches， 其中的 rags 是拼作 rags， 它是指破烂衣衫。那这个用语呢，引申表达是由贫穷到富有，它也可以表达白手起家的意思。再来，我们刚刚说美德的测试 ，virtue 就是美德或是高尚的品德。好，这边2个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看第一个重点是 with 加受词加受词补语。那这个句型是用来表达附带状况或者是说明原因。受词补语你可以用分词、形容词或者是介系词片语。那我们用分词当受词补语的话，你就看受词跟受词补语的关系。那么关系是主动的话，我们就用现在分词 VING； 被动的话就用过去分词 PP。那我们来看2个例句。Kate walked in with a book in her hand. Kate 走进来，手里拿着一本书。这边我们用到 in her hand 当补语，它是介系词片语。He felt nervous with so many people watching him. 有这么多人看着他，他感到很紧张。那这边我们用 watching 这个现在分词来当补语。好，那第2个重点是 mention 当名词呢，它可以表达提及啊、说到。好，那我们就可以用 make mention of 加名词来表达提到什么什么。Make no mention of 加上名词就可以表达没有提及、没有提到什么什么。举例来说 ，She made no mention of her recent problems during our conversation。我们交谈的时候呢，她没有提到她最近的问题耶。好，那我们继续回到课文中。
Gawain's honesty had spared him 2 axe blows, but his dishonesty on the 3rd day deserved punishment. Gawain returned to King Arthur wearing the green sash to remind himself of his failure to tell the whole truth. Hearing of Gawain's adventure, the other knights all started wearing green sashes in support, as a reminder to always be honest.
Okay, so let's see what happens with Sir Gawain after we found out about the secret, which was that the Lord was disguising as the Green Man. Gawain's honesty had spared him 2 axe blows, but his dishonesty on the 3rd day deserved punishment. So we have this word spare. So if someone spares somebody, that means that something very bad was supposed to happen to you, but I spared you, means that I said it's okay. So Well, we use this word back in the day when you have kings and queens and knights, and kings might say, you did something awful, but I won't punish you. I'm going to spare you. Today, it might be mom who's going to spare you. I'm not going to spank you, even though you cheated on a test, which means I'm going to say, I will give grace to you and have no punishment for you. He was determined to spare his children from the difficult childhood he experienced. That means that he felt awful when he grew up because it was so hard, and he doesn't want his children to go through that. So he says, I'm going to take that away from you so that I can save you from that punishment. I can save you from the bad life, and you can live a good life.
That's right. More generally, to spare something just means to save something. You spare a life by saving a person's life. Or if you want your friend to help you, you might say, can you spare a few minutes to help me in the kitchen? Can you save a little bit of time for me because I need your help? And if you ask for help, you deserve to get that help because at least you're trying to get someone to assist you. To deserve something is basically you're getting what you should get because of what you have done. Often we think of this in terms of jobs. If you go to a job and you work there for a number of hours and do the work and help customers in a store, for example, then at the end of the day or at the end of the week or the end of the month, you deserve to be paid. You've put in the work, so now you should get the money. So, of course, we want to deserve the things that we think we have coming to us. We think someone owes us. We deserve it. But if you do something wrong, you can also deserve punishment or something like that. So basically, your actions will have some kind of reward or you'll get something for them. Good actions deserve good things. Bad actions deserve maybe getting in trouble or something like that. Here's a way we can give someone a nice thing. It says she deserves a raise for her hard work. She's been working hard, she's been putting in the time and doing a good job. She should get a raise, she should get more money, she deserves it. Back to the article. Gawain returned to King Arthur wearing the green sash to remind himself of his failure to tell the whole truth. He is showing his virtue by being proud of himself for what he did, but also showing that, I did make some mistakes. I'm not perfect after all. The green sash will always remind me to always tell the truth, always do the right thing.
Hearing of Gawain's adventure, the other knights all started wearing green sashes in support as a reminder to always be honest.
Well, that's nice.
That's nice.
There you go. All right, so we have our what do you think question. What do we think about the what do you think question?
All right, question for you.
Oh.
Is it possible to be honest 100% of the time? Why or why not?
I think it's possible to be honest all the time, but you probably don't want to be honest all the time.
Oh, why is that?
My reason is that, of course, it's very important to be honest about the big things in life, the important things in life. But if your friend gets a really bad haircut and they're your dear friend and you love them a lot, you might not want to be honest about that. You might not want to say your new haircut makes your head look like a pineapple. That's being too honest. So sometimes it's okay to be honest. Most of the time it's okay to be honest, but sometimes a little white lie to save a person's feelings, to keep your relationship happy and healthy, that might also be okay. But always tell the truth about the big things.
I would say also be honest, but always be nice. So find a way to say what you need to say and don't be mean about it.
Good advice. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you back here sometime very soon. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
故事最后写道 ，Sir Gawain 的诚实让他逃过2次斧头的攻击，但他在第3天的不诚实却应该受到惩罚。最后Sir Gawain 就披着这个绿色腰带回到亚瑟王身边，用来提醒自己没有完全说出真相。那么其他骑士在听到 Sir Gawain 的冒险后，也都披上这个绿色腰带作为支持，也提醒自己要永远诚实。同学们觉得不管任何时候都要100%诚实吗？还是你觉得可以偶尔说出善意的谎言呢？ White lie 字面意思是白色谎言，那它就是指善意的谎言。好，课文单字用到 spare 这个动词，它表示饶过或是使免于遭到伤害。那么 spare 这个字还可以表达抽出或是拨出，像是可能拨出时间啊，拨出金钱等等。再来 deserve 是动词，表示应得或者是值得。好，那么以上节讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
On the first day, the lady approached Gawain and kissed him on the cheek. At night, the lord returned with a deer for Gawain. In exchange, Gawain kissed the lord's cheek. The following day was much the same, with 2 kisses exchanged for a boar. On the third day, the lady gave Gawain 3 kisses and a magical green sash that would protect whoever wore it from death. At night, Gawain kissed the lord 3 times, but made no mention of the sash. The next day, Gawain arrived at the chapel and knelt before the Green Knight. The knight bluffed 2 swings with his axe. He then scraped Gawain's neck with the axe before revealing his true identity as the lord of the castle. The old lady in the castle was actually King Arthur's enemy, Morgan Le Fay, in disguise. She had transformed the lord with magic and set up this test of virtue. Gawain's honesty had spared him 2 axe blows, but his dishonesty on the third day deserved punishment. Gawain returned to King Arthur wearing the green sash to remind himself of his failure to tell the whole truth. Hearing of Gawain's adventure, the other knights all started wearing green sashes in support, as a reminder to always be honest.
A.House Gallery is the only building that stands on ground level in the Maple Garden. The architectural concept is very intriguing. It resembles a trilobite, the ancient creature that lived 450 million years ago. This art center was developed and is sponsored and managed by Twin Oaks, which has devoted itself to aesthetics in life. The 3 A's stand for Architecture, Art, and Alive, the motto that Twin Oaks wants to communicate. The 4 sides of the building are made of glass from floor to ceiling. The exhibition and reception areas inside the art house are cleverly designed, and multimedia equipment has been utilized. Although A.House Gallery is not huge, it's still quite spacious inside. It frequently holds interesting exhibitions, inviting local residents and visitors into a world of culture, creativity, and art that feeds the soul. There's an outdoor classroom located just outside the center. The grassy stadium seating fits in with the natural surroundings. It's an excellent spot to see an outdoor performance, or to simply rest and chat with family or friends in the shade.